Hi, this is April. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to take a minute to discuss a book that has continued to inspire me throughout the years, especially whenever I feel lonely or depressed or when it feels like the world is crashing down all around us. It's The Diary of Anne Frank. I read The Diary of Anne Frank when I was about 17 years old on the recommendation of my mother. If you're not aware of Anne's story, she and her family relocated from Germany to Holland to escape the Nazis, only to have the Nazis invade Holland. In 1942, Otto Frank, Anne's father, decided that they should go into hiding in a secret annex attached to the building where her father had his pectin company. Anne and her family spent a little over 2 years in hiding, so the diary chronicles not only her difficulties in living in cramped quarters with not only her family, but also the Van Pels family and a Mr. Pfeiffer, but it's also filled with poignant advice for living our day-to-day lives. She had wisdom beyond her years, for sure. Sadly, Anne and her family were discovered by the Nazis when someone tipped them off as to their hiding place, and she passed away at 15 years old in the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. The only one of her family who survived was Otto Frank, her father, and one of his employees who had helped the family, Miep Gies. She was the one who recovered the diary and gave it to Otto Frank, who went on to publish it. And I am so glad he did, because throughout the years I remember so many passages from the diary that have definitely helped me get through times of loneliness, especially during the pandemic, when a lot of us found ourselves isolated from time to time. One of my favorite quotes from her diary is, "The best remedy for those who are afraid, lonely, or unhappy is to go outside. Somewhere where they can be quiet, alone with the heavens, nature, and God. Because only then does one feel that all is as it should be." Anne Frank. You don't know how much this particular passage has helped me. When I started working from home and I found the monotony of everyday life was getting to me, I remembered reading this, and I decided to start taking a walk out in nature every morning where I could just be alone with God and nature, and it made such a difference. In her diary, she often described the struggles of living with so many people in such cramped quarters, and one relief she had was looking at a chestnut tree through one of the windows that wasn't blocked in the attic, and escape some of the drudgery of her everyday life. One of the other remarkable passages from the diary is where she grapples with the reason for all of the misery of the Holocaust, why the Jews have had to suffer so much. And I'm sure we have all dealt with that in our soul, questioning God. But she says, "Who has inflicted this upon us? Who has made us Jews different from all other people? Who has allowed us to suffer so terribly up till now? It is God that has made us as we are. But it will be God, too, who will raise us up again. If we bear all of this suffering, and there are still Jews left when it is over, then Jews, instead of being doomed, will be held up as an example." Anne Frank. And that is exactly what happened. And after the horrors of the Holocaust, on May 14, 1948, Israel became reborn as a nation.
In 1947, the Palestine question came before the General Assembly of the United Nations.
Argentina? Abstention? France? Yes?
The resolution was adopted by 33 votes, 13 against, 10 abstentions.
On May 14, 1948, the British government terminated its Palestine mandate, and on May 15, 1948, David Ben-Gurion declared the independent state of Israel.
ותעניק לעם היהודי ממש של אומה שוות זכויות בתוך העמים. תוקף זכותנו הטבעית וההיסטורית ועל יסוד החלטת עצרת האומות המאוחדות אנו מכריזים בזאת על הקמת מדינה יהודית בארץ ישראל.
I'll end with this final quote. Look at how a single candle can both defy and define the darkness. Anne Frank. When you feel like the circumstances of the world are just too much to bear, just remember that as believers, we are to be the salt and the light of the world. By Anne Frank deciding to take up her pen and express her innermost thoughts during a time of such desperation, she's become an example of how to fight the darkness with light. If you haven't read The Diary of Anne Frank, I hope that you pick up a copy and especially share it with the children in your life. It's a wonderful inspiration. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing for more news and reviews, and God bless.